Welcome to Brands Hatch for the last round of British Superbikes 2023. What a year it's been so far. And you actually join us on the Thursday because I thought I'd give you a little bit of a behind the scenes of what actually happens before the racing and the really busyness starts. And one of the first things that's happening is Franco has got a glamorous job.
Yeah, I just like to keep myself grounded and do this stuff as much as I can, to be honest. Feet are getting taken off the ground, it brings me back to earth a bit, so
quite right.
Do as much as possible, really.
I can smell some BS, but never mind. Matt is making a bracket so we could actually mount the TV because the way we had it mounted the previous round was onto an upright in the wall, and there isn't one here, so Matt's doing that. Our bike is ready, almost. I've got our tank back from Honda, and there's been a couple of tiny little modifications, including a rubber sock that goes around the fuel pump that will hold some of the fuel against it to stop it surging on corner exit, and we've poked the explosive in the back of it further down into the hole so it shouldn't surge as much anyway. This fancy Honda proper fuel tank is coming off, our one is going on, and then we've just got to do a few little setups and bits, and that bike is ready to go. To go with our modified fuel tank is a modified fuel line with a proper dry brake connector in it. So instead of having to take the plastic ends off, these bits that tend to fail after a while, we have a proper dry brake connector, so when we're taking the fuel tank off, that's better. Excellent. There is a second bike in the garage though, because Tim's sponsor Steady has bought a Fireblade, and so Tim will be riding Superstock out the garage with us as well this weekend. But as you can see, there is a little bit to do with this one, so I need to fit the thumb brake, take the forks and the shock out of it so Olins can check some settings in those for us, fit some bodywork, change the water bottle routing, and a few other little jobs. Oh, and fill the tank up with the explosive stuff. So there is an afternoon's work in that, which means I really ought to put my camera down and do some graft. It's turning into a relatively long day, but our bike, the Pathway bike, is ready to go other than finalising settings and getting Chris to put a map in it in the morning, but we're out relatively late, so that's fairly easy. Tim's bike still needs a bit of work doing, and Tim is cleaning his lovely electric scooter that somebody's borrowed you. Who'd you nick that off, Tim?
I've nicked this from Segway, Dual Ways, so shout out to Henry Mablethorpe. If you're looking for a scooter, look no further. Look at this. Look at this.
That's a bit fancy, isn't it?
She makes some fancy noises. I haven't quite worked out what to do with it yet. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a weapon.
Is it fast?
Yeah, it's fast as
It's going well and we are making solid progress, but it is 10:45 at night. And Chris, down here, is doing some lock wiring. Rob, have you told Chris how awkward I can be if the lock wiring's not done right?
Not yet.
Excellent. How do you think his lock wiring's going to be?
We'll find out soon.
Chris, would you like to stand up and let me inspect your lock wiring?
At least your rain light works.
Oh no, you didn't do that bit, did you?
Yeah.
Right, first bit's actually pretty good. Let's check the second bit. Oh, we'll let him have that actually, that's not bad. That is not bad lock wiring. Bolt's going the right way, wire's pulling it tight. We'll let that go. This time. Scooter brake. We are now remembering how much of a pig they are to fit because we've had to move everything on the handlebar along to make the scooter brake fit because it's got to go on the handlebar, so we've had to modify the clutch lever perch, move the span adjuster, the clutch lever perch, then remove everything and move literally everything. We've been to hell twice for a brake line the correct length, but they did do that for us at 9 o'clock tonight, so it's pretty good going. And in a minute, once I've mounted the
Sorry, Dave.
Pete's making some noise, and in a minute one was mounted the reservoir, then we have to take the caliper off and put it up here so we can get the air out of it. So it is good fun this, but it's a good team bonding experience because everybody's still laughing.
Everyone's buggered off out of your camera.
In about 2 hours time when we're still blowing the back brake out, the laughter will probably finish though. It's getting late in the evening, energy levels are beginning to drop, so there is always a solution. Flapjack! I'm going for my homemade white chocolate and pineapple option. It's excellent. I did these years ago. There is a recipe online. I'll put a link in the corner. Matt, as you walked away there, you did just go, just like that, as if it was a mere 5 minutes work.
Well, it was, for me.
That's a fair point. But to be fair, we did actually start this morning sorting the garage out at 8 a.m.
Yes, it's been a long day. A very long day. And I suspect tomorrow will be a long day. And I suspect Saturday will be a long day. And I suspect Sunday will probably be a long day too.
We're looking forward to that. We love it, really,
Yes,
don't we?
can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Podiums, here we come.
Morning, Claire. Is the fashion show started already? Go on.
As you can see, it's all glamour.
It's raining outside, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
You do know you can't wear that in pit lane if Franco's out. He's a shark man.
Well, he'll just have to deal with it.
Right, we've had a few little jobs on that this morning. Basically, we found the one of the clip-on tubes was bent, and it turns out at some point it's fallen over in a van. So we had to change a clip-on tube, which meant we had to change the lever guard, but it meant the one that was on it didn't fit. So we've got a GB Racing one on there, so thanks for them for giving us that. And that bike's off to scrutineering, and I might give Chris a hand, or I might not. Mark has joined us this weekend because we need an extra pair of hands. We know Mark because he's another of our rapid coaching lot, so bit by bit the rapid coaches are taking over the asylum. All right, Tim has been out for FP1 in the absolute driving rain, and we had a bit of an issue with the shifter and blipper, which turned out to be the connector. There was a bit of a fault with the connector for the rear wheel speed sensor. We have sorted the problems on that now, and the couple of laps he did, he said the bike felt good. The throttle maps and the grip and stuff felt good, so the actual bike, the basics of it is good. It was just the little niggles. Right, we've got 5 minutes to go before FP1 on the Superbikes. We're actually starting the session almost out of fuel, which might seem a bit bizarre, but there is a reason. At Donington on our tank, and we're back on our tank, we had a problem with the fuel surging. And so there has been a fix put in place, but we need to test that the fix actually fixed it. So we're starting really low on fuel, so Franco's literally going to do 2 laps, come in, then we're going to fill the tank and we'll do the rest of the session. And we'll know then if the surging issue has been fixed. So fingers crossed, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's good.
Was okay?
Still that movement in the middle of the corner.
Right, okay.
I don't like it.
We'll go a little bit harder.
But that is good.
Right,
I'm getting up on, so I don't know what to do.
do you want to try it harder and see if you can feel the spin more earlier? So we'll just try it and see if it fixes the next corner thing.
Watching everybody go round 30s, everybody's having a bit of that.
Are they?
Yes, they are, yeah.
Something. I think we should just try a little bit. Just so we've got an idea, because if we don't try it and we need to know it.
Got 29.
You want to do more lap? Yeah, do another run then, yeah?
It's not dragging a great deal. I think when you get going, it'll be all right. If it is dragging too much, just press that. It'll stay in the softer mat.
Ready, Rob?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. End of FP1, and that was pretty good, to be honest. We were kicking around 12th, 13th, pretty much the whole session actually. But then with about 8 minutes to go, 6, 7, 8 minutes to go, Franco came in, thought it was dry enough for the Inter. So we put an Inter rear in, and everybody else just kept chipping away on the wets. And it just probably needed another lap on. The Inter's only got 1 flyer on it, so we dropped to 18th, but his pace was good for the whole session, so his feel with the bike's good. There's still a little bit of work to do on the rear wet setting, but in general, decent session that. Right, so debrief from the first session, and there's a few areas where, a bit like Donington, we're struggling to get like the rear tyre feel, so Franco can't run the corner speed he wants. So we're going to look on the places where it's worse. We're going to look at what the rear looks like on the day compared to places where it's not so bad. But the nice thing is we were basically like 11th and 12th, 13th position most of the session until right at the end. But Franco knows if we can get these bits right, we're going to be nearer the front.
Not happy with it yet. I think if we did get everything right, which probably annoyingly should have listened to you, maybe done a bit more changing, but I just wanted to get laps in really. And then on that last one, I didn't expect to see the checkered flag there. I thought I was going to get another lap in. So yeah, I think if we'd have had a good one, I'd have been first.
Yeah, we haven't come here to try and be top Pathway or to try and be in the points. We want to be up the front, don't we?
Yeah, I think we can be as well.
Yeah, we want to mix it with the Superbikes. To say it's been hectic since FP1 would be an understatement. We've literally thrown some food down on X, turned the bike around, cleaned it, put all the dry settings in it. It's got a dry map in it that Chris has done. This has all been done and finished, fueled up, the lot. Unfortunately, Tim was out right before us on the Superstock bike and crashed a few laps into the session with a bit of a front brake issue. So we haven't got the bike back from scrutineering. Tim is absolutely fine, which is the important bit. Yeah, quite angry because it's out of his control and it's obviously a bit scary when you have a brake issue. But we need to concentrate on this side of the job. So, yeah, usual Franco. We're ready though, aren't we, Rob?
Yes, that was organised chaos, I think I would call that.
It was on the cusp, wasn't it, of almost disorganised?
It was. I've nearly broke into a sweat.
Right, lap 1, session 2 in the drive. What are you doing? 8 lap run to begin with to get an idea of where we were, and obviously we have no data in the drive from early in the year, and everybody else has, so we're on the back foot a little bit. And we were about 3 seconds off the pace. So he came in, made some comments about how the bike felt, had a quick look at the data, went stiffer on the front, put some preload in it to give him something else to push into as he's trailing the brake off, and went best part of a second quicker. So that put us, we're basically 2 seconds behind at the moment off the pace, and then he's come back in and did a 5 lap run like we planned, came in. We've now got the X tyre in, and everybody will be trying that, and literally rolled out a pit lane red flag for somebody else, so rolled it back in. We've had 5 minutes, now he's back out, but it has been busy, as always. It's not just our boy who gets a little bit of his moment in the spotlight, even our bike's getting some attention for Eurosport. It's going to be famous. So Friday evening, and it is all hands on deck because we've just got the normal turnaround stuff to do on Franco's, but it does take a bit of time. And we are going to put Tim's bike back together and get that back out. So Franco's been helping Pete, doing some bits with the handlebars. Tim is playing with brake discs. So basically, we're going to take these brake discs off and drop off at the Brembo truck, and the Brembo guy's going to test them and see if there's anything issues he can find with that, but hopefully not. And we're going to put our spare calipers and mass cylinders and everything that we took off our stocker that Tim used on our bike at Cadwell onto Tim's bike.
We're hoping brakes are going to work this next time, aren't we, Dave?
We are confident the brakes are going to work because it's obviously something in the standard tail that's on your bike that's not playing ball, so we'll sort it.
They need to work, don't they?
I've heard they're useful.
Yeah, I've heard they're useful, yeah.
So all this flat tracking when you only use the back brake, it didn't help today, did it?
Well, I don't need a front brake for that job, but it's a bit different when you're doing 140 mile an hour into a corner, isn't it?
I'm guessing that was actually kind of scary.
Yeah, a little bit. It's the first time I've ever had to jump off a bike before, so sort of one pull of the lever, nothing, another pull of the lever, nothing. I thought I'd better jump off it. So anyway, I've calmed down a bit now, so we can talk, so it's alright, but...
Yeah. And actually, the bike's actually not too bad, is it?
That's the first time we've had a crash at that sort of speed and got away with it, so...
Yeah.
Friday the 13th was somehow lucky, wasn't it?
It was actually,
it was unlucky,
yeah.
But lucky.
Yeah. So, actually the bike, we'll talk about that briefly, considering it's basically been through the gravel trap at Clearways at 100 and something mile an hour, has literally dinked the silencer a little bit, gravel rashed the bodywork, and didn't even break the screen. So the Marvel team non-screen braking has continued. It is mid-evening, we have Greatest Hits Radio playing on the TV. Right, on Tim's side, Tim is pitching in and they are changing the handlebars to basically the setup we've got on the other bike because that's what Tim used at Cadwell to win on. So they're rearranging everything, and it is a bit of a faff rearranging all of the hardware on the handlebar, but they are getting there with that. And luckily the rest of the crash range wasn't too bad, so the boys have had the bike outside and cleaned it. And on our side, we have a slight upgrade. Sorry, Pete. Sorry, I did refer to it as our side. Sorry, on Franco's side of the garage, My bike. Over on my side of the garage. Right. Gearing change to give us a slightly longer wheelbase, and looking at some of the data, there's some places where we can make it a little bit easier to ride and get the throttle open a bit longer. And at the front, we're bleeding the brakes up with some new RBF 700 Motul fluid into some shiny new calipers. To be fair, these stock calipers, they're good unless you're trying to do British Championship on them, unless you're trying to do British Superbike racing with Franco, because he does brake hard as well. We've basically got to the limit of those calipers. And so Matt has been out and spent the pension fund on new calipers. If anybody would like to donate to the caliper fund, it would be great. It is all quiet at the end of another busy day going motorbike racing. It is actually before 10 o'clock tonight, so we've done quite well to get finished off. Even though there was only like routine stuff to do on Franco's, including then also fitting some brake calipers, there was quite a lot of little cleaning jobs and bits to do, so me and Rob popped on with that one. Mark, Chris, Pete and Tim have been turning that one around, and we have found a nick in a coolant hose, which was a good spot from Mark, so we just got to get a hose in the morning. Then that will be finished off. We are not far off, to be fair to us, and considering that went straight on at clearways with no brakes, that has got away with it pretty lightly. So, compared to yesterday, it's an early finish. We'll see you lot in the morning. Welcome to Saturday morning in pit lane. I'm losing track of the days, but that's motorbike racing for you. Priority job this morning wasn't actually rescreening Tim's bike. We're having team photos done, which will be nice for the old memory banks. It's actually quite cool this morning, and it rained quite a lot overnight, but the track is drying slowly. So FP3 for us in dead on an hour could be interesting half wet, half dry thing, which we could have done with full dry to test a few more bits, but this is what we get. So we'll crack on after the photos. Right, word on the street is the track is drying out because the lad who went into front and rear popped up to 7th last lap but was going quicker and quicker, so we're going into. Bike is warming up. We are ready to go in 5 minutes. Because it's a bit damp, a lot of the Superbike boys haven't gone out, but we have, and mid-session we were running 4th and 5th most of the session. The first half, and then we've come in and we've gone slick rear. He said it's on the cusp whether the slick will work or not, but we've got it. It's a scrub from yesterday, so we're not using anything new. And he does say his new brakes back. This isn't going to be a lap time session. This is just trying to build it up and piece bits of the puzzle together, and there's some new lines and bits he wants to have a look at, and just it's laps basically, and nothing makes you faster than riding your bike. Right, fairly quick turnaround. Franco's come in, Tim's straight out. Franco came in and said it was iffy with keeping the front tyre hot, so we've actually taken the into front straight out Franco's bike and put it in Tim's because we haven't got enough wheels for Tim's bike. So it is Tim's turn to go out and have a go. Pete's on the bike out. They are happy days. Right, Tim's sprung into action. It is actually his qualifying session, but the boys on Franco's side are on the job. So Rob's just checking and lubing the chain. Chris is buzzing the fairings off it. Obviously, we already have one wheel out. The wheels we're using for qualifying are actually on the racks warming up already. We will need to pull the fuel tank off, measure the fuel, redo that, clean the brakes, have a general look around the bike, and make some discussions, but basically we can't change much from that session because it wasn't full dry to push full on. So yeah, usual routines. Right. Quali has finished for Tim. What he really wanted was front 2 rows because that puts you right in the fight, but being as we managed 2 laps in the dry yesterday before launching the bike at the gravel, we're on the back foot would be an understatement. Last lap of qualifying he managed to knock a second off in 1 lap. Must have been a bit of a bite the screen lap, dug in, mega lap, put him 9th, so we're 3rd row. So that is a really solid effort, being as he was having to build into it. So yeah, absolutely spot on job that. Well done, Tim.
First proper go on the bike, that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Top 10 of British Championship, first time on it then.
Room for improvement.
Yeah. In the quiet between a couple of sessions, we can do a little update. We've got qualifying in 45 minutes, so bikes had the first heat cycle, just doing the last fairing fit. There's a 1mm change in forecast to try and get the bike to turn a bit more mid-corner. We've gone a little bit higher, basically to raise the centre of gravity up, so when it comes off the brake, the bike should keep turning. We've got a bit more preload back in it as well, because this morning, because we had the interfront on, we didn't want the bike quite as stiff, so we softened it off a little bit for that. So in fact, we have the full drive setting back in it. Chris at Honda has changed the throttle map so that when he shuts the throttle, it's more an immediate shut. And in effect, for trying to control wheelies or slides, that's going to help him a little bit. But other than that, the bike is basically as we used it yesterday in the end of FP2. Q1, we have an X tyre in the back of it, the SE2 because that's the front we like, fueled up and ready to go. For the fuel, because we weigh the fuel tank, we have to weigh it before and after the session, calculate the weight difference, tells us how much fuel we've used, work that out per lap. And for the geeks out there, a litre of petrol weighs 0.74 of a kilogram. On the Superstock side of the garage, they're just doing the fuel level in Tim's bike ready for his race this afternoon. Basically giving the bike a wipe round, a clean, a check over. Not really making any adjustments on this because Tim's confidence is getting higher and higher the more laps he's getting in, so he'll just go quicker and quicker on this at the moment. So we're not chasing setup, he just wants the laps basically. And the big thing is, when you clean something, you touch it, you check it. That's why we clean stuff all the time. We've also been very lucky again because 2 rounds in a row somebody has bought us treats. We like treats. So thank you to the couple I met the other day who just gave me a tub of quality street. So thank you very much. I don't know your names. Of course, today's forecast was perfect. Pit lane's nearly underwater. It is hounded down, it's gone really cold as well. And so we should have been out literally now, but they've given us 5 minutes extra, or a few minutes extra, so people can swap stuff around on bikes. But yeah, that's changed the show a bit, but that might actually help us because really our wet pace is probably better than our dry pace, so this might be all right, you know. Oh, we think our boy will go well in this.
Yeah, he's excited, he's keen. That's a good thing about Franco. Even when it's pouring rain, he wants to ride. So yeah, he said he wanted to be straight out the front, which he's pretty much made it out the front. So he's going to just have the first lap to see where the puddles are. Mate, who's going to know what's going to happen in the next 15, 20 minutes? I don't know.
12 minutes.
12 minutes, exactly. Yeah, 12 minutes.
Right, quali for Franco didn't really go to plan, if we're honest. The wet we thought would work better for us, but we didn't get the bike. We haven't got a good wet setting at the moment. And so we ended up 22nd on the grid. And where we should have been top half easier, I think, because we know the boy could ride in the wet and we just haven't got the bike working for him. Then debrief with that, we'll be looking at the data bits for Chris next door at Honda, and we have a plan. And then the boys were sat on the run up to Tim's race, and then it drained again. Again, it's not supposed to, it's not on the forecast. Peed down. So I had to start digging in and sorting out, swapping it into its wet settings. And then it stopped raining, it's dried out, and it's a right gamble on the grid because it looked like it was going to tip it down on the grid. So we went full wet still. And a lot of people have gone into rear at least, and we probably should have. But basically, we rolled the dice and we didn't roll the right one, I think, this time. If it had rained, we'd have been winning. As is normal this weekend, a few before the session there was the threat of rain. We just watched a Supersport race on the TV, and if you go offline it's really iffy, it's really quite wet. But I thought he was doing out 2 hour laps. He's rolling round to us. We'll get him on the stands and see what tyres he wants. We have everything here available. We're deciding on tyres, definitely slick rear. We're undecided on the front yet, so Franco is having a moment. And a coffee, because he likes a caffeine hit, so Jess has brought the coffee to the grid. Chilled out, that lad.
We'll put slick in, eh?
Slick front, yeah. Okay. Slick front, I like it. Commitment, slick front. Right, lap 4 of 12, and we are 22nd. Not a very good start. And then the problem is, because we've gone the slick front, you can't really go offline anywhere to pass anybody, and it's the second half of the race. It should be better, and it should be better for an outright lap time, but at the moment we may be struggling a little bit. But there has been a couple of people down with bikes about rolling into gravel, and it's sketchy out there. The dry line's about that in some places. So, and in fact, through Hawthorne, the fastest corner on the track, there is no dry line yet. So there's some bravery pills needed out there. The Superbike thing did not go terribly well. Not a brilliant start, but then he was picking his pace up, and then we started getting some brake fade. Bit of an issue. Basically, the new calipers are obviously better. There is more stopping power, and interesting, we can decelerate with less brake pressure. So Franco's having to work less, which is good because he doesn't tire himself out, and we actually can stop faster. But for some reason they're boiling up the fluid we had, presumably because they're generating more heat in a shorter distance. The heat has to go somewhere going into the fluid, so we had some brake fade issue, so we're having to address that. But we have some plans. We've always run the Motul RBF 700. We've never had a problem with it on the stock brakes, but we are going to try some Brembo to see if that is any different. Obviously all Brembo components, you never know. We also have a 20mm ratio lever. So at the moment the pivot point's there, so it gives you actually gives you nice power, and it gives you quite a nice long progressive feel in the lever. But we're going to go for the 20mm pivot, which will give us less lever movement for the pressure you're putting into the master cylinder. Technically actually makes less power, but if we've got less lever travel, we can pull the lever harder, and hopefully we'll get less fade and it should be better. So we're doing that, and we are going to make some setup changes. Going to try some different gearing and a slightly ride height change and preload change to the rear of the bike for morning warm-up. So the idea is, if we can get it to stop better at the start of the corner and get, when he picks the throttle up, it to keep turning on the exit a bit better, then in effect he can feed the corners off more, ride it a bit more like a superbike, lap times will improve, and we'll all be happy. At least that's the plan. Tim's bike, we're not really changing much, because what he needs is actual dry track to push on, so we're just doing the usual maintenance jobs. Boys are checking everything over. That is the easy bike. You'll be pleased to know we're not starving in this team. Claire has done an awesome job of feeding us today. We have had paella, or if pronouncing it correctly, paella, followed by a selection, a cornucopia, in fact, of hot puddings with either custard, hot, because we're not weird, or ice cream, cold, because it's ice cream. And now we're just pottering on back with the work, really. So, yeah, a happy team, eats together. Luckily, we don't sleep together. Thursday night, when we're doing Tim's back brake, we borrowed a vacuum compressory air bleeding thing, which was awesome. But this might be even trickier. So we've got a bottle welded up, but the welding on this is lovely. I mean, that is quality welding and quality construction with a level gauge in it as well, and a non-return valve built into it, purely as a brake bleeding bottle. Utter overkill. And the lads in the garage next door to it, which is L74, used to be PR Racing, they don't know I've borrowed this, so thanks, Joe. It's cool. But, everybody around, we're just basically socialising, having a bit of fun, and Pete's pretending he's looking at springs and things, and it's a bit comical. And of course, the only person actually working is Rob, so we're just doing a clutch check on the Fireblade, checking the stack art and the clutch condition, because it's done a couple of practice starts and a race start now. And while we're here and we have a minute, we're also going to talk bracketry. How much do we like these little steel brackets that mount the reservoir pots on?
It's got Obsession on it.
Yes, these are now Obsession Engineering branded. In any day now, these will be on the website, and they're just really handy for mounting brackets and bits, or you can turn on into a keyring if you want. But they're cool little things, and they are very handy for mounting stuff like that. So get on the website, buy bling. And okay, we jest about brackets and people slacking off and stuff, but it is quite nice because it's cold outside tonight, so everybody's ended up congregating in the garage because there's enough space for everybody, and we're just taking the mickey a little bit and telling stories, and most of the stuff that we wouldn't ever think of actually putting on the internet because we'd probably all get locked up. But it is good fun. This team's pretty good. Welcome to Pit Lane Sunday morning. I am wearing my Obsession Engineering hat, available soon on the website because the weather today is cold. Slightly late start this morning. We're out at 10 o'clock in the morning for warm-up. So they're actually doing the pit walk today at like 8:45, so in a minute. And there was a slight difference down pit lane. Storm has his hats out for sale, and they've got some music playing, and he feels like he must be like really awake. He's complaining he's copyrighted. I'm not allowed to video. Yeah, so he's like seems full of energy. Franco's muttering and drinking coffee because that's what he does. So yeah, team dynamics are different. I like ours. Franco, we don't normally actually see you up at this time of day. What's going on?
I was up early. But to be honest, I was freezing in bed. I just thought, do you know what? I thought my coat's probably going to be a bit warmer than the sleeping bag. So get up, get out,
Get on with it.
and warm up in the freezing cold.
Signings crowd have left pit lane. We've warmed everything up. He is on the track for morning warm-up. Normally I stand in the garage and keep it on the timing screens, but it's in the shade and it's freezing. Stood on pit wall's actually quite warm, so I'm going to enjoy it here, at least for a few minutes. Right, that hasn't gone to plan. Three laps of morning warm-up and the brake's just gone to nothing again. So that's absolutely no good at all. So we're going to have to go back to the standard calipers because they don't fade. But that is horrendous. That is no good at all. I can now do a calm update. When Franco came in morning warm-up, my stress level went very high. You know, it's been a long weekend, we've done some late nights, probably not slept brilliantly, but most importantly, the bike isn't working properly. And that's the whole point of what we're doing and all the work we do in the background and everything like that, is to get the bike right. And so, basically, we had a problem with the brake fading. So within 3 laps, the lever was coming basically back to the bar and he didn't have any brakes. And he said it was from lap 1, it got worse and worse and just went to nothing. So, the Brembo brake upgrade, there's more braking power. There is more ability there, but if only lasts 3 laps, it is absolutely no use to us. So we've put the standard calipers back on that we started the weekend on, and we know they're not going to do the brake power he wants. But to be able to finish the race with some brakes is better than doing 3 laps and having to pull in anyway. So one of them we almost can't win in that situation, but we are going with a thing that will work better. Other than that, we had some new settings and bits in this morning that we didn't really get to test because we had a brake problem. So we are going into the race on a slightly unknown setting, and this still goes back to the fact everybody else has got base settings from earlier in the season. We haven't, because we weren't here with this bike, and we haven't had a proper dry session all week. So stress levels are up. The bike is ready. I've had a scone. Wasn't any clotted cream though, so Avril needs to book her ideas up. Yeah, we are ready to go. Zen-like.
The first weekend I did with Marvel was at Cadwell. That was relatively relaxed with one bike in Superstock. A couple of weekends ago, Superbike class, Donington, a lot busier. Then third outing this weekend, Brands Hatch, 2 bikes, Superstock, Superbike, and it's
Issues
chaos.
We've had issues
Organised
with both
chaos
bikes,
though, but we've had some issues, yeah, as you say. So it's been non-stop from 7 in the morning till probably 11. Franco's behind me, he's been a dick.
Yeah. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Hello, would he be anything else?
No.
I don't want to put it down on it, and I'm not going to be negative about the situation, but I'm not overly confident we're going to have a good result, which I've never normally said, but realistically, it's going to be a tough one.
We know we're a bit on the back foot.
Yeah, we are.
But all we can do
we've
is
been
try
a bit
our
on the
best.
back foot setting wise, and I just think I thought this bike would work a little bit better here, but I think me and Alex have definitely proven that it's been tougher than we thought coming off Donington. Obviously, Alex crashed yesterday, and I think we're probably somewhere near each other in the race. So I think my goal is stay somewhere near Alex Olsen, preferably in front of him, But that is the benchmark, really. That's the only realistic goal I think we've got, to be honest.
Yeah, and we know Alex is a class act. He's fast around here. And they've got settings. They're a step ahead of us, I think. But
they've been there earlier in the year, but I think we can beat them.
Yeah, we know we can.
I'll just use my basically raw talent to come through.
Compensate the team.
Yeah, well, it's all we've got is me at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm carrying you at the minute, to be honest.
Unbelievable. That's the thanks you get from this cheeky little...
Right, on that note, shall we warm that bike up again?
Yeah, go on, warm the bike up.
Our boy is here. Everything all right?
Yeah, the brakes are
Not as good.
no. Right, I'll pull it as hard as I could on warm-up back then.
Yeah. Right, 3.5 minutes to go on the grid. We've had plenty of time, so the roll to the grid tyre is out. Brand new zero tyre in. Everything's warmed up. Chris has checked the bike's running well on the warm-up lap, and there is pretty much nothing we can do now. It is down to the boy and his talent. Mossy got past him that lap, so we're now P20, but Mossy's quicker, so hopefully he can tag on to Mossy and get towed along a little bit. So we've got Olsen behind us now, P20. You know, this is actual progress. We're lapping loads faster than we've done the rest of the weekend, so it's into new territory as well. We're in the race. The 4 top people in the championship are currently the top 4 people in the race, but not in the right order. It does get a bit tense in the garage when we're all watching the telly because there's quite a lot at stake now. Go on, Franco. 7 laps into the 20 and he's just on his fastest lap at 27.1, which is good. He's gapped Olsen a little bit on that lap, and Olsen's a good target for us because basically the same equipment, same stuff, and Olsen's a class rider as well, so this is good, Franco. He's showing his talent. Iden's crashed, stretching him off, but there is a safety car. So this will bunch the group back up, but that might actually work for us in the long run. Gets tense, this racing malarkey. Right, we have 3 laps to go. This is turning into a proper race. The championship contenders at the front, Erwin Bridewell and Kyle Wright. Ball scrapping it out right at the front. It's basically Tommy. I think it was kicking him out of the seat a little bit there. Right. Wait for the noise to finish. We are currently 18th, just behind Peary. Mossy's gapped us a little bit. Our fastest lap of the race is 1.2 seconds off the fastest lap of the race against full-blown superbikes with data from earlier in the year and all the rest of it on our little Pathway bike with the standard calipers back on it. The boy is on it. We've gapped Alex Olsen by 4 seconds. The boy has dug in today. That is fair play to him. Bridewell and Erwin into the last corner. This has been close. Bridewell has really pegged him back, but Glenn has got it over the line. So that takes it really into the last race of the championship. That is turning into a proper scrap. Right, where's Franco? Come on. There we go. P18. Right, P18 might not sound spectacular. And if we're honest, we want to be further up than that, and we know he can be further up than that. But 2 places in front of us is Mossy, who's won round here. Andy Irwin's 13th, Tom Neave's 14th. We're not that far off factory superbikes on our stocker. Pathway bike, sorry. That boy has dug in today, fair play to him.
Start of the race, I was really good on the brakes.
Yeah.
But then into Paddock Hill, go watch Druid, second corner. Coming into there, you go up a hill, it flattens off the top. When it flattened off the top at the end, it just
pushing the front too much.
The front was too...
I'm wondering if the front might even be almost too stiff, so when you're just trailing it off, it's just trying to push the front away,
maybe preload, just because the spring's good on heavy corners. But it's when it's just sitting on it, on the
it's maybe out. Yeah, we can have wheels out. If you can get the front out, great. If you're burning your fingers, don't worry. Yeah, that's all we can do. Park firm, I completely forgot because this is Superbikes and we're new to it. We're park firm in the garage, so basically there are actually scrutineers in pit lane making sure we don't plug your laptop in or anything. We are allowed to take the wheels out though, so we can buzz the wheels out of it. We can start getting wheels changed for the next race. But good effort, that boy. Good effort. Nice and calm here on the grid with Tim.
Yeah.
Chilled. Again, been a little bit on the back foot again with not having base settings and bits like that, and obviously the bike job we had on Friday. And to be fair, Tim's been a bit under the weather this weekend. He's had a bit of a cold, so he's not feeling his most energetic, so he's just going to dig in, a bit like Franco, dig in, do what he can, and in effect he's almost in for testing for next year. So yeah, Pete's just chatting to him, talking through, plan for the start, who you want to chase, where you want to be in the first corner. Nice calming influence. That's our Pete. Right, a couple of laps in, and Tim's pulled in. He said he's not really feeling strong enough to wrestle one of these round here for another 14 laps. So he's made the right choice. It's the safe thing to do, because if you can't ride properly, and you know, you're not only yourself you're risking. So that was the right choice. But you know, we can fight back another day. Right, little recap from race 1 this morning, or race 2 technically. We finished 18th, lapped the 21st quickest, but our fastest lap was only 1.2 seconds behind Bridewell on a PBM Ducati, which is a lot of money's worth on, in effect, a Superstock bike with a different rear tyre in it and some Motec on it that's actually not as good as the kit stuff. Lap time wise, he was quarter of a second under the Superstock lap record and 0.4 faster than Dan Linfoot won the Superstock race on just after us. So it goes to prove that we are going faster than a Superstock bike. Unfortunately, we believe we are basically at the limit of how fast a Pathway bike can go round here. So we have changed no settings from the first race, but what we have done is a brand new set of Z04 Brembo, because we know they work best when they're brand new. We've rebrayed it with some more RBF 700. We didn't get any brake fade, but we don't want to risk it. So we're making in effect the stock brake setup as good as it can possibly be. We've also got some new pads in the rear, because the bike wants to wheelie so much, and obviously we have no anti-wheelie, so he pushes on the thumb brake that much. He's warped the backing metal on the rear brake pads. And other than that, checked it, cleaned it, filled the fuel up, measured everything. We are tip-top and ready to go again. Considering we started the year not knowing where we would be in Superstock, the fact that I am stood on the grid for the final BSB race of the year is pretty good going, really. We have had one heck of a year, but we still have to do it one more time. Franco's on his out lap, we're all ready. Trolley's here with the wheel that's going in the bike, everything's pressured up. Claire is bringing the glamour like normal. Chris is laptop ready, and we always see people plug a laptop in on the grid. Basically that's just to check like the logging from the out lap, make sure wheel speed sensors, temperatures, that sort of stuff is happy. And once that's confirmed, all we got to do, make sure the rider's in the zone, and he will be. So 5 minutes left to go. As normal, Franco has run off for a pee. The track temperature is dropping quite quickly. We're down to 15 degrees, so we're already 6 degrees lower than we were for the race this morning. The zero tyre that we're running, the harder tyre, copes better with low temperatures, and probably at least half the grid are on the X, so that might give us an advantage, especially second half of the race if they start, in effect, cold tearing or whatever going off. And at 3 minutes it will be trolley off, so we'll have warmers but no trolleys or anything. And this man wants to know what tyres we're running. We have 2 front, 0 rear. Right, and then with 1 minute to go, me and Pete will pull the last warmers off, leg it off the grid, then it's down to the boy. The last race of the season, the BSB finale, and we're just as nervous as ever. You do not get used to the nerves of this. Wait for the lights, they're on red, go! Looked like a decent start, he's in the pack. Right, let's see where he is on the TV. Second corner, Franco's eye-sided it. Probably a little bit low on tyre temperature. He's just tapped the throttle and pinged himself over the top, Franco. Not a mega fast one, but it pitched him fairly high. We just hope he's all right. He is listed as rider okay. They've been through it, they were clearing the bike out of the way. No safety car or anything. So that is a good sign. So rider okay, that's the important bit. Obviously not not what we want. It's a disappointing hit, but as long as he's all right, that's the important thing. Once we knew Franco was reported as okay, they've scooted him off to the med centre. We stayed in the garage and we watched one of the best superbike races you will ever see. Came down to last lap manoeuvres. Tommy Bridewell mugged Carl Wright for second, but that gave me enough to win the title. Glenn Irwin won it. Bikes were sliding around everywhere. That was epic riding from all three, Bridewell and Glenn Irwin. Just spectacular. So if you've not seen the last race from Brandt Hatch, go back, watch it. Those boys are heroes, and our boy ain't far behind them. That's been an emotional half an hour. Here we go, second in this year's championship. Glenn Irwin, epic ride. Had to win it, went out and did it. Did everything he could. Here we go, this year's champion, Tommy Bridewell! Nice of you to do that for me. Well, we've got the bike back, and end of the season he's finally broken a screen. Broke the screen, bent the handlebar, pulled some pipes and bits off it, bit of a scuff on the dashboard, bit of fairing damage and stuff, but realistically nothing we can't deal with. So if there was another race this weekend, we'd get that fixed, no problem. And we have got a rider back, so we'll go and see if we can find him.
Yeah, that hurt a lot. Didn't get very far really, did I?
No.
Turn 2, Alex sort of came on the inside of me, and he did that in the first race, and I thought, I need to stay in front of you, because I knew I was quicker than him. Tapped the throttle the tiniest bit on the right hand side of the tyre, and it went so early. I was just talking to Tim yesterday, said, I've not really had a big eyesight yet, to be honest with you. It's not come yet. Me, it came to.
It did, boy, it did.
Well and truly, it came. So yeah,
so what
let go, chucked over, slammed the floor pretty hard, winded, hurt my foot. It's not broken that, but it is. I'm in quite a bit of pain in my foot. My arse cheek black and blue. My knee, the knee that I already hurting more. Yeah, so just typical high side sort of thing really, but yeah, I don't have to pack up now, do I? That's really why I did it. You know, we have had an absolutely amazing year, to be honest. We've won Stock 1000 races, been in top 10 in Superbikes. We've had a shit end to it, but I think, you know, that'll do really, won't it?
We'll remember the highs and the pain will fade away.
Yeah. Well, easier for you, but
yeah. Well, I'm not paid, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're stopping tonight, and the doctor said we need to have lots of beers tonight. So
done deal.
Right,
let's get this packing up done.
Go on then.
That is it. The sun is setting on the BSB Championship 2023. We started the year not really knowing where we were going to finish in Superstock. By the time we finished the season, we have been top 10 in British Superbikes. We've won Superstock with 2 different riders. As a team, I think we've bonded incredibly well. Everybody's happy. It's a great environment to be in. We absolutely love this team. And the biggest thing is we have proved that Franco Bourne is a massive talent for the future. I mean, he's not here and Tim's here. So we've proved that Tim is a massive talent. We hope you have enjoyed watching these videos. Hope you enjoyed watching the season. We will be back with more racing, but mostly, thanks for watching and join us again next time for some more motorbike fun.